everybody. This is a demonstration to show you how and what to demo to a professor who isn't using any technology at all, a professor teaching economics, and basically they've given you about 10 minutes in their office to show them MyEconLab. So let's do that. There are 5 key things that you definitely want to show a professor, and those things are features in MyEconLab. The 5 features would be the learning aids, the study plan, the grade book, the economics in the news, and the preloaded courses. So, you know, if this particular professor is a bit of a technophobe, you want to show them how easy and simple it is to get started using MyEconLab. Also, talk to the professor about the student success surveys and how much students absolutely love this product. 90% love the learning aids, and they really feel like this particular product has helped them earn a higher grade. So for this demo, I'm going to show you the MyLab mastering site. So right now you can see that we have all the different courses here, but let's start with the preloaded course and show them how crazy easy it is to get started in MyEconLab. So one thing you might ask a professor while you're getting, your demo set up is, Professor, wouldn't you like a fully loaded, ready-to-go course at the click of a button that matches your book? You want to get started simple and easy, right, Professor? So what you want to do is show the professor how easy it is to build this course. Talk about how it saves time with already created assignments that include homework and quizzes and media without adding to your workload. So let's build the course. Here we're searching by discipline, economics. So you can see in MyLab Mastering it's a little bit different, or NewDesign. And we're not sure which publisher, so just leave them all. It'll be Addison, Wesley, or Prentice Hall. And then click Go. So now we're creating our course. And you go to look to the left and talk to that professor, or just for demo's sake, pick a book to show how easy it is. So for today, I'm going to select the Miller Economics Today 16th edition. So I'm just literally clicking on the Select Course Materials. And if you decide, wait a minute, no, it's like, oh, I like Hubbard O'Brien or I like Parkin, you can just change the selection quite easily by going to that button up above. So let's name my course, and it's Lori Demo Thursday, right? You can put a description in there, but for time's sake, we'll just go through this quickly. Bam! I have created my course now. It is that simple. So here's my confirmation request received. Here's my course name, the course ID that he'll want to give the students. And that's as simple as it. Print this page for the records, hand back, and let's go back to the course page and show them where this course is. All right? So now we're back at our list of courses here. Let's scroll down to the course that we just created. And it's this one right here. So it's creating right now. You can just, for time's sake, click on the details to make sure all of this is correct. You can go back. Let's go back to that same course. And here it is. So all I'm going to do is click on my course that I just built. All of the homework, quizzes, and everything is in there. Isn't that simple and easy to do, right, Professor? You're already started. I know you're busy, but it doesn't take time or add to your workload. So let's go in and show you some other features that I think you'll really like, or your students definitely will love. So this is the calendarized view. You want to talk to them about that so students can see upcoming assignments, announcements that you, professor, let's just show them the instructor tools here. Your course home manager, where you control the announcements. Here's where your students can see what's coming up, the study plan, questions worked, things like that, right? Make sure and point that out to them. Now for this demo, guys, I'm going to go back to my courses because in my Miller 16E course, I already have pre-built grade book. So I'm going to scroll back to that course for this particular demo. But I basically just wanted you to see how easy it is in the NewDesign to show a professor the preloaded courses. It is really, really simple. And so you might want to have that already pre-built just like this one here. so you can show them. So now, basically, professor, again, talking to a professor isn't using technology. Let me just ask you, at 11 o'clock at night, how do your students get help when they're really doing their homework? Are they going to call you? Probably not. I wouldn't answer the phone. They might email you, and you may or may not be up willing to help them out. But in MyEconLab, the great thing and one of the most highly reviewed features within MyEconLab by students are the learning aids. So this is getting that help when they truly need it the most at 11 o'clock at night in their dorm room working on the homework. So I'm going to show you some of our learning aids that a lot of the students who are already using MyEconLab think have really helped them a lot. So as you can see, I have a few pop-ups coming up, and we'll tweak that here in just a minute. But basically, Professor learning aids in MyEconLab really give the student that 24/7 help when they need it the most. It gives them confidence and allows them to get help when they need it. So I'm going to create an assignment, Professor, and show you a couple of the learning aids. So right now I have some pre-assigned, but I just want to show you a homework. I'm going to create a homework for you so you can see the learning aids. Just takes my computer a little bit to catch up. So I'm just going to name my homework, just demo, and then I'm going to click next. As you can see, Professor here is the assignment manager. So I know that in Miller, I believe I've pulled up some of where the key learning aids reside, that in Chapter 1, The Nature of Economics, and Section 1.2, and then the problem where I've already done my homework for you, Professor. I want to show you some of the learning aids that the students have really responded to here. So here's an exercise that's pulling up, and as you can see this particular view, you can see the problem absolutely completed. It'll pull up here in just a second. Great. So here is an example of the problem completed. Now, if you want to click over here and work the problem as a student to make sure that this will be acceptable for your particular students in your class, you want to show the student to show work. When they do that, you can just click right here, and then you can change the points for that particular question. So let's work the problem as a student, but what I want to show you are some of the learning aids. Here's the first learning aid. This particular learning aid, the students absolutely loved. It's the Help Me Solve This learning aid. This learning aid, when you just literally click on it right there, walks the student through this particular problem step by step. So they can check their answer. It's going to give them feedback. I got this right. And then you click close, and it takes them back to the question. So they can really get help walking through the problem step by step. So in homework, you know, it's getting that practice, right? Making sure that they understand the material. And at 11 o'clock at night, what a great feature to have for that particular student when you definitely don't want them giving you a call. The other great learning aid here is the e-text. So I just clicked on the learning aid here. It is pulling up the e-text for Miller 16th edition. And instead of taking the student out to the very beginning of the book, then having to hunt and peck through this e-book, it takes the student directly into the book where that particular concept resides. So as you can see, it looks just like the book. It is the book. And right here is our particular question. So remember, it was defining economics, which of the household unlimited wants and resources supply. There you go. It's all right there. The student can read through and make sure that they answer the question correctly. It's also a good way to make sure the student is reading the book. They also get help with graphing. So if there's, want to get some practice graphing, you just have to select a tool. Helps to select it, doesn't it? And they can get help with graphing right here. All right. And then back to this problem. This is the same problem, Professor. You have other learning aids, so they can get help with the graph. I'm going to go back to looking at this particular exercise as I'm working as a student. This is, through the preview, is a learning aid where the student can actually email you directly. Now, you may have TAs that you want to put their email address in here, or you may want them. I think it's not a bad thing, and in most cases, and a lot of our faculty advocates use this, they feel like it hasn't been abused, and especially if a student is coming in during your office hours, you can see and have them show their work exactly where they might be getting tripped up. It's a great way to make your office hours a lot more efficient, and you can see if they're really getting it during your lecture. So they can print this. This is a feature for you, so they can ask the publisher, what's going on here. Maybe, there's a discrepancy. But you can also add in an instructor tip. This is great if you know that you covered it in class, or you went through these exercises and you're like, this could trip them up. I'm going to give them a little tip here to help them out. You can save it, and then when they get to this particular problem, that tip is going to come up. So let's click Add. And all you have to do is click this, add it over, and just check and make sure your tip is there. It's a great, great way to personalize, this course and really help them out. All right? So next, you definitely want to then go into the study plan. And this is one of the most unique features to MyEconLab. It is a great way for students to make the most of their study time. And so one of the benefits behind this study plan in MyEconLab, which we believe is truly unique to the industry, and the students that have completed the surveys love it, because it helps them a lot. It's individualized, so it really is geared for this particular student who may or may not be ahead of the rest of the class or maybe a little behind. So it's their way of catching up. Plus it's visual feedback to help them get to know what they need to, right? Instant feedback. So they can determine what they need to study by clicking on homework, quizzes, tests, or sample tests ahead of time. You see the arrows here, which shows that they need to practice certain questions and topics that they definitely need to study. If they've mastered certain questions correctly, you're going to see these different icons show up. The really cool part here, I think, for you to show, instructor success as well as student success is it shows the number of questions that they got correct, how many they've worked. Here are the different number of questions in the study planner, this particular, chapter. And here's the time spent here. So if they're coming to your office hours saying, I don't get this, you're not very helpful, blah, 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 you can see how much time they've spent here and really are they committed or not. It's a great way to show improvement as well. So if you go into your grade book, you can see this, the course of action through the study plan, whether or not the students have really succeeded or not. So all you have to do, and right now, Professor, I just went down and clicked on the grade book, which is, again, something that we are really touted for in MyEconLab. It's a phenomenal way, again, to show student success and instructor success. So here's the study plan. I'm just going to click on it right here so I can see how much time these students, apparently they have not gotten started yet. But you can see here through the class roster, just looking at the study plan section in the grade book, here's who needs to study, all selected questions, time spent, corrected. So when Arian or even Larry comes into your class, you can really have a really great discussion of where they're at and where they need to get to go. The other nice thing about the grade book, let's say you want to export this data for using Blackboard or a different platform, it's very easy to do right here. You quick export, advanced export, and it walks you through that process. You just click right here to manage and complete. You can change weights right here. You can edit your roster if someone drops or wants to be added in. There's even more gradebook tools right here. One particular tool here that a lot of our faculty advocates like is the search email by criteria. So if you want to email students based on an overall score, maybe some are doing really well, you want to say, hey, great job, send them an email, or some are really not doing so well, and it's close to that drop add time, this is a great way to email that particular student and really show that how active you are as a professor and that you care. And it also helps them out. I think it's great. Student success equals instructor success, right? So we just go back to the gradebook here. And you can really get into this even more. So if we want to do an overview by student, let's look at Dwayne here. And let's look at the details, or let's go back to the gradebook. Skip it around on you here. Let's look at all assignments. And you can really dig in. This IA means item analysis. So if you want to get into the class average and check out the Chapter 5 homework and really how well did they do on these different items, you can dig in and kind of base it or readjust or cover something else in your lecture that you can see that the students didn't get, or maybe they did. And then that can enhance your students' experience in your class, but also your experience in teaching it. You know, assessment is key these days, right, as well as accountability. And I think this gradebook really gets at all of the above. It's a really nice feature here in the gradebook, and it, I think, is a great resource for you as an instructor and for your students. So pretty nice, right? So let's then go back up to news, because I'm sure I hear this constantly in a lot of different disciplines that students just aren't reading today. They're not keeping up with the news, and they're just busy, or maybe it's just not of interest to them. But it is for you and for your class. So through MyEconLab, we want to help you out here. We want to help make it more current. And I'm sure they ask, well, why should I care about economics, professor? Well, here's a great way to show relevance, but also a daily reminder of how economics is relevant to their daily lives. So you see there's several different areas to go into and show the news. You can view the latest news updates. And basically what this does is in Miller, we've gone ahead and you see the macro news and kind of micro news. You can see the news by date or drop into the different chapter for each book. So it's a really quick and dirty way to keep you updated if you haven't had time to kind of get into today's news, definitely for your students. So no excuses, right? That's what I love the most. So if we go back up to the news, I want to show you some of the other links. One of my favorites, I have to be honest, is the Economics News Live. So this is literally, as you can see, 40 minutes ago, stocks plunge on jobs gloomy Fed statement. A little scary, right? But what a great way for you to walk into a big lecture hall classroom or a small classroom, pull this up, show your students how timely, and what a great way to start the discussion, or funnel that discussion into the topic of the chapter that you're covering for that particular day. I think it's absolutely amazing, and here are the different videos that are just as current. 47 minutes ago, stock plunge on jobs, gloomy. Really shows that you're an up-to-date current professor, and it also shows the relevance for the students. I absolutely love this. The other thing I want to show you too is the multimedia library. We have videos in MyEconLab, at least 50 different videos. And one nice thing that we do here is we kind of pull this all in. Again, we're in the student view just to show you. All in for the student. So for example, if you're covering Chapter 1, you can see here in the multimedia library, students have access to different animations. There's different audio to walk them through. There are lecture notes. And we've already put the relevant videos into this particular chapter that apply to the concepts at hand. This is already done for you and for your students. So, Professor, these are the basics of the program for MyEconLab. I've shown you learning aids, the study plan, pre-delivered courses, the gradebook, and economics in the news. All of these things have rated very high on the national survey of over 10,000 students that I talked to you earlier in ways that have really helped them with their success in economics, and for you, instructor, for retention and to become more efficient as an instructor. So I hope you appreciate this demonstration, and I look forward to you using MyEconLab. Thank you. So again, guys, those are just the quick features to show a professor who may not be using any technology at all. Basics of the program, whet their appetite, take away that technophobic idea, and good luck.